Hello and welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and the observant of you will notice that I've got the same grid as yesterday, so I'm afraid you're not getting a new puzzle grid today, but I am going to go through the solves of this puzzle, Cam Dennis's amazing triple chess puzzle, as both a king and a queen variant today, just to see how they work. I think that was the overwhelming recommendation from the comments yesterday. I'm very grateful for the comments. Feels a bit cheeky kind of getting you guys to try the puzzle for me and see if our testers were right and if I ought to be doing it, but that's what I'm doing. So you're not getting a new puzzle today, apologies about that, but I'm going to go through the solves of the king and queen if I can. Now I think the impression I got was that the king was the easiest of the three. Some people thought by a lot, some people thought by just a little, but the queen was either the hardest or by far the hardest of the three, so that's quite interesting. The knight's move puzzle, I guess, took me some 10 minutes yesterday. We'll see how we get on with the king queen today. Just before that, a reminder about the Sudoku Grand Prix, which I mentioned a couple of days ago, and I had a go at it today. Got 10 of the 13 puzzles done, which is quite good for me. What really amazes me is that there will be people who finished all 13 puzzles in 60 of the 90 minutes, and their skills are really beyond anything I understand. There we go. That is the world of competitive puzzling for you. So, all of that said, let's get cracking with the King Sudoku. So, remember the rules of this are normal Sudoku rules, and also cells cannot touch each other diagonally, so meaning they can't touch the same digit diagonally. So in this cell there cannot be a 2 because it would be touching this 2. By normal Sudoku you could put a 2 in here, but not in King Sudoku. So let's start with a 3-6 pair there. Now that's not quite as helpful as it was yesterday, although interestingly you can use that as a double again on this square. In this cell, if 3, 6 are both touching it, one by a king and one by normal Sudoku, then that rules this down to be a naked single, which is a 9. So that is an interesting start. So we get a 9 up there. In row 3 now, the 9 can't be at the end. It's got to be in one of these two cells. So we could ink that in R. Yeah, there are some very interesting cells. I mean, we kind of knew that from where this 9 was placed. In this row, we've got to place 2, 8, 6, 7, and 9. This one's a naked single. That's a 6 straight away. Now, the 8 clearly can't be in either of those cells or that one because of that 8. So it goes there. This cell is ruled out, remember, by the king's move from there. Now we've got 2, 9, and 7. This one has to be a 2 because it can see that 9 and that 7. And these two are a 9-7 pair. Oops. There we go. I'm going to take the 9 out of the corner there. So, Simon says nobody puts 9 in a corner. So I've worked out that 3, 6 there. We get a 5 up there. 9, 7, 8, 5, 4. So 6 in this box. Can't be in those two because of this 6. The same 6 is ruling out that one because of the king's move constraint. 3 could be in either of those, 2 in either of those, and 1 in any of those. Now how about up here? 9, as we know, is in one of those. 7 must be in one of these. Obviously the cells from down here can't reach up here to affect them by king's move. So let's go along here. Yes, this works very nicely. Where are we going to put a 1 in this row? Look at that 1. It's ruling out all of those cells at once. So in goes the 1, in goes the 4, because this 4 is ruling out those two, and then we have a 3-7 pair in the row left. And where does 7 go in this box? Look, this 7 is ruling out all of those 3 cells, and this one's catching that one. So this must be a 7 in the box rather than because of the row. That's very neat, really. So 3 is now here, actually, because 3 different 3s are working in different ways on these other cells. One by horizontal, one by vertical, and one by King's move. The 8 in row 5 must be here. The 2 must be here. These 2 are both ruled out. And then we've got a 9-5 pair left. 7-1-4 to go in here. Don't know which way round they go because I can only limit it that far. But we can put in the 5 and 9 at the end. Now, 8 in column 2 has to be here, clearly. This is a 7-2 pair because 7 and 2 are there. And we can work out the 9-4 in a couple of ways. This can't be a 4, so that places our 9. That's nice. And we've got a 1-2 to finish this column. Oops, I'm in the wrong mode. 2, 1 like that. So this is now a 3. Still don't know about 1, 2, but they are a pair. And in fact, where does 8 go in this row? There is only one spot because that one is ruled out by a knight's move. So 8 goes there. That puts 8 here. I think we're all done with 8s. We've got 5, 6, and 9 to place here. That's not totally straightforward. Okay, we've got 3, 5, 6 as a triple down here. This one must be 3 because it sees 6 and 5. 5, 6 pair there. We've got 4 and 9. We can fill them in. 4, 7, 8. Oh yes, this was 5, 6, and 3. I don't know which way they go. Down here, it's a 1, 4, 7 triple. We'll work that out in a moment. Always easier in a King's puzzle to work around the grid lines because that's where the extra stuff comes in. So that's really where I'm focusing most of my activity on. You know, I'll be able to get that at the end, for instance. So 2 must be up here. 5, 4, 6, 9, 8, 2. 3 we can place in this box. Got to be here. That's giving us a 1, 7 pair. Is that 3? Yes, that is leaving that 3, that cell as the only possible 3 in box 2. So then we can fill in 3 here. Does that give us the rest of this row? No, because this could still be 5 or 6. So we're just going to need one more little tip over. 4, 7, 9, 8, 3. One of these is 5. That is interesting because 5 is also restricted to those 2 cells. So that's using up the 5s in columns 4 and 5. So the 5 in column 6 has now got to be here. And that is very useful. That's surely going to finish everything else up for us, I would think. 9 here. That 9 sorts out the 5, 9 pair in the middle. That sorts out the 7, 9 pair. That 7 must now go in there. This is a 1, 4, 7. That's all resolved. That 4 fixes that. Still can't do that. Oh, yes, we can. That 2 has done the 1, 2. Actually, that did it a while ago. 4, 7, 9, 8, 3. So 5 is now here. 1 here. That fixes 7, 1. That fixes 7, 2. Oops. And 6 and 2 to finish. So that was relatively straightforward. I mean, nice little couple of things. One with those 2 5s that had to be in those 2 dominoes down the center. And I mean, some of the row logic was quite nice up here as well early on. But overall, not the trickiest of the 3, I don't think. Certainly easier than the knight's move. So that's the king's move done. Let's restart. And this time we're going to do this whole puzzle with queen's move restrictions. And just to remind you what that is, as well as normal Sudoku rules, the 9s, only the 9s, cannot see each other diagonally. And I think often the best way to show this is to colour all the cells that the 9s can't that the 9s can see so that other 9s can't go in them. So we'll start with those. This would be normal Sudoku plus king's move. That would be the restricted area for this 9. The box, the column, the row, and those 2 by diagonal. But because it's a chess queen, It also is ruling 9 out of these diagonal cells. So they're all green too. So that done, let's do some regular Sudoku, because that can sometimes help. You do have to fix the placement of the 9s. Actually, I've just remembered I can also colour in all the givens that aren't 9s. And that might help understand the box geography, if you like, of where we're going to be able to place a 9. And I mean, that is interesting straight away. We're restricted to just 3 cells in boxes 3 and 9. Now, first thing to spot is this row, I think, which only has one little pair that can be a 9, because these 3 have been ruled out. So 9 must be in one of those 2. And now we can immediately make all these other cells green. Now, we don't know which one it's in, but we do know it's in one of them. So, is that telling us anything? Well, sometimes there are cells that both candidates can see at once. I'm not sure that that is the case here. I'm just trying to see what we could pick up. I tell you what is quite interesting. Yeah, okay, this is very interesting. Right, so I've just spotted, just by looking around at the diagonals that these 9s are operating on, this 9 would take out this cell. I'm going to make that purple, just because I'm going to make that purple as well. If this was a 9, that couldn't be a 9. Now, if this was a 9, this is quite interesting, because that 9's looking down the diagonal and ruling out this cell. Let's make that blue. So 9 must now be in one of those 2, and that rules out this cell and again this cell. So this cell must be rulable out by both versions of 9 here. So that just takes a little bit of looking around to see. I mean, I did that in my head. I'm just colouring it to kind of show you what I was seeing. Now that puts a 9 in one of these 2, and that uses up the 9 for row 1. So these 3 cannot be a 9. So we can make them green as well. So now we get a 9 in one of these 2. And let's see what else we can conclude. Still wondering about that. That puts a 9 in one of these and creates a 9 here. Does it do anything obvious down below? Not really. Okay, so what else can we see? This 9 would rule out those 2 cells. No, it's not obvious to me how that's going to help us now. Interesting. So let's keep studying what we've got. Now this 9, actually this would be quite powerful. This would be ruling out an awful lot of cells here. That one as well. And 9 in one of those 2 would immediately rule out this one on the diagonal. So that would put a 9 here. That would put a 9 here. We'd have to have one in this cell and this one. It is possible. That's looking like it is possible. Let's try the alternative. If 9 was here, well, that immediately rules out this cell. So there'd be a 9 here. There'd obviously be one here in this box. That would put a 9 down in one of these 2. And again, the 9 would be in this row. So in fact, 9 is now restricted in this box. Under either 9 up here, in this box, it becomes one of those 2. That's absolutely intriguing. So I'm going to make them both 9 possibilities. Colour everything green. This is now green because they both look at that. That's fascinating. I don't know if this is what you saw if you tried the puzzle yesterday. Now, this one would rule out that. So that would give us this, one of those 2. These 2 both see this cell here. And that one's ruling out those 2. So this would give us one in this domino and one in this domino. And that would mean this was the 9. Intriguing. This rules out lots of the middle. I don't know. This is still possible. Okay, I'm going to go back to a bit of regular Sudoku, see if we can pick up anything that way. It's not impossible that that's what we're going to need to do. So 7 and 8 pairs. There must be a 7 and 8 down in that row. 4, 7. What else have we got? 3, 5, 1, 4. Remember, only the 9s have this extra restriction. So for the rest, we're just looking at regular Sudoku to try and find a path through this. And there's not much. There's not much to go on. So might have to go back to considering the 9s. This one. Now that this one can't be a 9, that's a naked single. Oh, how intriguing. Yes, okay. Should have thought about that. Once we do start ruling out 9s, we could actually create the odd naked single. And look, this now is a naked single and it's a 9. So that's what we needed to be doing. Probably shouldn't have needed to go on this kind of goose chase to find that 9 over there. So we're now managing to place some 9s. That is seeing that diagonally, so we get a 9 in there. This one puts a 9 in one of these two, and that one restricts it to one of these 3. Okay, so let's do a bit more greening in those boxes where we've been focusing on 9s and that one's gone. In fact, let's get the 9 out of the corner there. Yes, and we've ruled out this importantly, so that is gone. Okay, so we're down to these cells, these white cells for possible 9s now, and maybe I've missed eliminating something. No, that shoots through, that doesn't pick them up. So not sure yet, but let's go back to doing some more Sudoku because that's how we got here. So this one's a 5 to finish the column. 7, 8, 6. This is a naked single 2 now, I'm pretty sure. 3, 5, 1, 4, 9, 6 in the row, 8, 7 in the column. So we can finish off the 8s, we can finish off row 3, so I should express that. Don't know about 7, 1 and 3 here though. So 2 must be here in column 8 rather. That puts 2 in one of these 2. 6, 1 and 3. So one of these is a 6. 4, 1, 7, 3. So 4 is up here. That's interesting. 4 is now in one of these 2 cells in row 6. Can't tell which one yet, I don't think. Although that would be very useful, obviously. If that was a 4, that would really move us forward on the quest for the 9s. Maybe it's just worth seeing what we're left with now. If this is a 9, that makes this a 9, this a 9. Now suddenly this has to be a 9 and this one. That's all possible. Interesting. Whereas if one of these is a 9, that rules out this one on the diagonal. So that would become 9. That would make it this one. So now it couldn't be the central cell anymore. It would have to be there, there, and there. And again, that's all possible, but the central cell's now gone as a possible 9. It just didn't work. So we can take that out. Now 9's in one of those 2, and this is very useful because when we green the others in that box, what are we left with in column 1? Only one possible place. So we know that's a 9. Now what can that see on the diagonal? This cell, and that gets us home. So that one becomes green. I can put in a 9 here, 9 here, 9 here, and 9 here. And now the 9s are all placed. None of them see any of the others by vertical, diagonal, horizontal, in no way that a queen can move in chess. So I'm now going to just white out the whole grid and carry on solving. Now we're just down to classic Sudoku. So how can we finish this off with the 9s placed? The only 8 cell in row 5 is there. So we've got a 2, 3, 5 triple. Let's take some of the 9s out of the corners that we've left behind. There we go, just to tidy it up a bit. 5 in this box is ruled out of all of those by that, and this by that. So 5 goes in there. We can put one there as well. 5's in one of those two. Don't be looking at diagonals anymore, they don't matter anymore. Not in this puzzle anyway. So 7s must be in one of those two in this box. That means this isn't a 7, and that means it is a 1, given what else is in the box. So 4 and 7 can go in there now. 4 down here is going to be in one of those. 7 we can actually place, that's there. And 6 is in one of those. No, 9, 6, 3, 5, 1 already up there. 8 and 2 can't be there, so we can put 2 and 8 in as a pair up here. We actually know which way round because of that. 7 and 4 go in. That 7 puts the 7 in there. Let's get 7 out of there. We've got 2, 8, 5. In fact, we can. That's a naked single now, given that that's 1, 3 as a pair. We've got 2 and 8 around it. 1, 6, 3 up here. 3 and 6 to go in column 3, so that's straightforward. That 6 places the 6 here. That gives us 6 in box 8 and 5. 1 and 3 to place in row 8. No, can't do that yet. 3 and 2, however, must go in these two cells, and we can do them. 1 and 4 up here. And really, again, the whole puzzle came down to those queens and where they were positioned. So absolutely interesting to me that it worked so neatly like that. What I really liked, actually, for a Queen Sudoku is very unusual. You had to do a bit of actual ordinary Sudoku to even kind of place the first one. So that was unusual and you know, slightly spicy, if you like, for a Queen Sudoku. So 6 is now up here, isn't it? That must be 3 and 1 there. That puts a 1 here. This central one's a 3. This is 2 now, 5. The 2 fixes the 2, 8 pair. Still haven't got this 1, 3 pair up here, but we'll come back to that in a moment. We've got 3, 4 to go in down there, so this must be 8. And this is now a 1 for its row, so that does fix the 3, 1 pair. We were wondering about that. 3 puts 4 and 3 in place, and then we've just got 4 and 1 to go. And that's a nice puzzle as well. So brilliantly done, Cam Dennis. I mean, that is an amazing setup to create the 3 chess variants from this one grid. I'm really impressed by that. I hope you did enjoy solving them when you did it, and I hope if you struggled, 1 or 2 did with the Queen puzzle, I hope that explains one of the techniques to go about Queen Sudoku with. I think it's a very interesting variant, and it'll be great to see how people react when we get round to the Queen Sudoku upload in our chess package. So thanks very much for watching. Do obviously check out the Kurt Hugo Schneider videos on Patreon. Very interesting stuff. And also, obviously, buy the apps if you haven't already. They are proving immensely popular. I mean, I actually saw that all 4 were in the top 10 of Google Play current downloads, astonishingly. So they're going very well. People do think they're worth it. And we've had very little negative commentary, to be fair. So thanks very much for watching. Hope to see you again soon on Cracking the Cryptic. And bye for now.